seen one. It turned out he's probably a 4.5-year-old. I seen a 3.5-year-old in the 8-point. I'm not sure what that big one was. He might have been 4.5. I don't think he was younger than that. He had a lot of mass, and he was on a doe. And they bedded down, and I thought he was just down in some tall grass, and I decided, well, why don't we go ahead and close the distance, because you ain't going to get anything if you're 100 yards away with a bow. So, you know, in my history of hunting, I've always hunted from the ground almost exclusively, and closing the distance was never a bad thing. Just about anything I was hunting, it didn't matter. To just sit and wait and hope that they come by you, that's great if you've just got, you know, cameras out everywhere. But my methodology is to go ahead and find a buck and then hunt him, not just to dive into the woods and hope for the best. So I've been seeing this one in the last 2 days, and I put him to bed last night, and sure enough, he was here this morning. He just didn't do as much running of does as they did last night or yesterday morning. And then here walking out, I had about probably a 125, 130 class 8-point, real tall. I mean, he was probably had 11-inch G2s, looked like an 8-point, kind of narrowish. I mean, he was 45 yards from me on a trot, and I kind of looked up, and there he was, and nothing happened. I wouldn't have taken him knowing that this, I believe it's a 10-point. It could be a big 8, but I couldn't make it out last night exactly, but he sure didn't look like an 8. I've seen a lot of 8-pointers, and he looked a little busier than that. Through my binoculars, it was quite a distance, but I'm hunting this river bottom back here right along the edge, and there's a kind of a horseshoe-shaped pond, and it kind of forces some travel corridors there that I think I got a different spot I'll set up on tonight if the wind's right. I went to bed last night knowing that I needed a south wind to even hunt this morning, and sure enough, the forecast showed a southwest wind. So if you wonder why I'm dressed like this, I don't really care if I'm wearing camo. I just want something that'll break up my pattern. Guiding hunts in Alaska, we wore all kinds of stuff, but rarely were we wearing full camo. We were wearing more, you know, wool type stuff. Again, checkered pattern. You know, they're not seeing in color, so this red to them is just grays and dark, you know, colors and light colors, different shades of gray, I guess. So anyway, moral of the story is here, just keep getting out and hope for the best, but you ain't gonna get a big buck if you ain't hunting a big buck. You can spend 100 days in the field, but if there isn't a big buck where you're hunting, how are you gonna get yourself a big buck? So I try and find a big buck, then get permission to hunt the property, which is exactly what I did here, and then go in after him. I had him at about 70 yards this morning. He come out just down the fence line from me, you know, really pretty much where I saw him go in last night. But he did so much running around, I kind of tried not to dive in too deep. I set up a little bit, you know, to where had he done some moving around, I figured he'd come by my ground setup. Had a really good spot there. But anyway, tonight, if I get a chance, if the wind's right, and I really could use a south wind again tonight. I'm going to hunt a kind of a horseshoe in the horseshoe bend in the creek or the river, and that way it'll kind of keep them from coming at me from the north, and they'll have to come at me from either the east or the west, and if I got a south wind, I'm good to go. So we'll hope for more tonight. Thank you. Over and out. Peace.